was a chilly October evening when I first laid eyes on the house at the end of the street. Its dark silhouette loomed ominously against the fading light of the setting sun, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch out and swallow everything in their path. I had heard the rumors, of course, whispered tales of strange happenings and unexplained disappearances that had plagued the house for years. But like any curious teenager, I couldn't resist the urge to explore. As I made my way closer, the air grew heavy with a sense of foreboding. The creaking of the old wooden boards beneath my feet echoed through the silent neighborhood, sending shivers down my spine. The windows were boarded up, their glass long since shattered, and the paint on the walls was peeling away in layers, revealing the decaying wood beneath. It was as if the house itself was alive, breathing in the darkness that surrounded it. With each step, I felt a growing sense of unease gnawing at the pit of my stomach. But still, I pressed on, driven by a mixture of curiosity and fear. I reached out a trembling hand and pushed open the creaky old door, its hinges groaning in protest as it swung open to reveal the darkness within. The air inside was thick and musty, filled with the smell of damp earth and decay. I took a hesitant step forward, my footsteps echoing through the empty rooms as I explored further into the depths of the house. Every corner seemed to hold its own secrets, every shadow concealing something sinister just out of sight. As I ventured deeper, I began to hear strange noises echoing through the darkness. Whispers that seemed to come from nowhere, their words unintelligible yet filled with a sense of menace that sent chills down my spine. I could feel eyes watching me from the shadows, unseen but ever present, their gaze burning into my soul. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the whispers stopped. The air grew cold, colder than it had any right to be, and I felt a chill run down my spine as a sense of dread washed over me. I knew then that I was not alone in the house, that something dark and malevolent lurked in the shadows, waiting for its chance to strike. I turned to flee, to escape the suffocating darkness that threatened to consume me whole, but it was too late. A cold hand closed around my throat, its grip like ice against my skin, and I felt a scream rise up in my throat only to be choked off by the darkness that surrounded me. And then, there was nothing but darkness. I awoke with a start, my heart pounding in my chest as I struggled to catch my breath. For a moment, I was disoriented, unsure of where I was or how I had come to be there. But as my eyes adjusted to the dim light, I realized with a sinking feeling that I was still inside the house at the end of the street. The air was thick with a sense of malevolence, tangible and suffocating. I could feel eyes watching me from the shadows, unseen but ever present, their gaze burning into my soul. With trembling hands, I pushed myself to my feet and stumbled towards the door, desperate to escape the darkness that threatened to consume me. But as I reached for the handle, I froze. Something was different. Something had changed. The door that had been open just moments before was now sealed shut, its wooden surface unyielding to my frantic attempts to escape. Panic clawed at my throat as I realized that I was trapped in this nightmare from which there seemed to be no escape. I turned and fled deeper into the house, my footsteps echoing through the empty rooms as I searched desperately for a way out. But with each passing moment, the darkness seemed to close in around me, suffocating and oppressive, until I could barely see more than a few feet in front of me. And then, just when I thought all hope was lost, I saw it. A faint glimmer of light shining through a crack in the wall, beckoning me towards it like a beacon of hope in the darkness. With renewed determination, I made my way towards it, my heart pounding in my chest as I prayed that it would lead me to safety. But But as I reached out to touch the light, it flickered and died, plunging me once more into the suffocating darkness. And then, with a deafening roar, the walls around me began to crumble, their decaying wood and plaster falling away to reveal the true horror that lay hidden beneath. I stumbled backwards in horror as I beheld the true form of the house, a twisted maze of corridors and chambers that seemed to stretch on into infinity. And there, at the heart of it all, I saw it, the source of the darkness that had plagued this place for so long, the malevolent force that had ensnared me in its grasp. It was a creature of pure darkness, its form shifting and twisting in the shadows as it reached out towards me with clawed hands. I could feel its icy touch against my skin, searing like fire as it dragged me closer and closer towards its gaping maw. With a scream of terror, I fought against its grasp, struggling to break free from its grip. But it was no use. The darkness enveloped me, swallowing me whole as I was consumed by the abyss. And then, there was nothing but darkness. I awoke once more, my body drenched in sweat, my heart pounding in my chest. For a moment, I lay there in the darkness, trying to make sense of the nightmare that had consumed me. But as my eyes adjusted to the dim light, I realized with a sinking feeling that I was still trapped within the confines of the house at the end of the street. Desperation clawed at my throat as I struggled to find a way out, my mind racing with fear and uncertainty. But with each passing moment, the darkness seemed to press in around me, suffocating and oppressive, until I could barely breathe. I stumbled through the empty rooms, my footsteps echoing through the silence as I searched desperately for an escape. But no matter how hard I tried, I could find no way out, no crack in the walls through which I could escape the nightmare that had become my reality. And then, just when I thought all hope was lost, I saw it. A glimmer of light shining through a crack in the floor, beckoning me towards it like a lifeline in the darkness. With trembling hands, I knelt down and reached out towards it, praying that it would lead me to safety. But as I touched the light, it flickered and died, leaving me once more in the suffocating darkness. Despair washed over me like a tidal wave as I realized that there was no escape, no way out of this nightmare that had become my reality. I sank to my knees, tears streaming down my face as I surrendered myself to the darkness that surrounded me. And there, in the depths of despair, I heard it. A voice, soft and gentle, echoing through the darkness like a whisper on the wind. "Do not be afraid," it said, "for I am with you always." I looked up, my heart pounding in my chest as I searched for the source of the voice. And there, standing before me, was a figure cloaked in light, its form radiant and ethereal against the darkness that surrounded us. With trembling hands, I reached out towards it, drawn towards the warmth and comfort that it offered. And as its light enveloped me, I felt a sense of peace wash over me, like a gentle breeze on a summer's day. And then, with a blinding flash of light, the darkness was banished, replaced by a warm and comforting glow that filled the room. I closed my eyes and let out a sigh of relief, knowing that I was finally free from the nightmare that had haunted me for so long. When I opened my eyes once more, I found myself standing outside the house at the end of the street, the morning sun shining down upon me like a beacon of hope. I looked back at the house, its dark silhouette looming against the bright blue sky, and felt a shiver run down my spine. But as I turned and walked away, I knew that I would never forget the horrors that I had witnessed within its walls. And though the memories would haunt me for the rest of my days, I also knew that I had emerged from the darkness stronger than ever before. For I had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, a survivor of the house at the end of the street. And there, in the light of the morning sun, I knew that I would always be safe.